What's up, everybody? Raider XP here. Today, I'm going to show you how to build an infinite mud farm. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to come around here and we're going to take a look at all of the materials that we need. Now, this build is going to be a little more intricate than some of my other tutorials, but let's just have some fun with it, shall we? So basically, what we're going to need here is we're going to need 12 pistons, 3 redstone torches, a redstone comparator, 2 redstone repeaters, a block of redstone. I like to grab a stack of stone block, or stone brick I should say, and you can use any type of block of your choosing. I just fancy the stone brick. And I also grab a stack of stone brick wall. You will not need a whole full stack, but I like to have extra just in case. 4 trapdoors. They can be any trapdoors that you like. I just fancy the spruce. A bucket of water, 5 observers, about 14 red dust, 3 hoppers, piece of glass, 2 dispensers, 4 droppers, and of course we're going to need some dirt to be able to convert it, and then get yourself a few stacks of bottles. Now, ultimately, you want to fill your dispenser up with bottles, and it would be best so you never have to worry about it just filling up every spot with a full stack. But you don't need a full stack. Just make sure that when you do put them in your dispenser, that every hole is filled with a bottle of some form. Now, you remember in the day when it used to be, you wanted to make some mud, you had to grab yourself a bottle of water, sit here and do this constantly over and over again. Well, I'm here to tell you what. Today, we are going to build this fancy, sleek mud farm. Alright, so let's get this thing going. The first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to place a couple of temporary blocks right here. Because what we need to do is place our dispenser, and we have that facing us just like so. We'll get rid of those temporary blocks, and now what we're going to do is we're going to place around the side here, or the back side I should say, and we're going to place 3 blocks in a row just like so, and 1 recessed into the ground. And I like to open this up here so I can see everything I'm doing nice and easy. And then what we'll do is take that out, place it with the brick, and then take those 2 pieces out right there. Now, once we've done that, what we want to do is we want to grab our repeaters and our comparators and our redstone torches. So what we want to do is, first thing first, we're going to place our comparator right here facing away from your dispenser. Then grab your redstone and run your redstone all the way down those 3 like that. Grab your redstone repeaters, and facing your block, you're going to want to put a repeater right in that space right there, like so. Grab your redstone torch and put it right on that block, just like that. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our hopper, and we're going to come around to the front side here, and we're going to crouch down, and you're going to point your hopper right at that comparator, crouched, and place your hopper just like so, so it's pointing into the comparator. Now what we're going to do, a couple temporary blocks real quick so we can stand on them, and then we're going to take our hopper and we're going to put it pointing straight down right into the dispenser like so. And so far, this is how we should look. Pretty simple, not too hard. Just follow step by step and you should be able to get her without any issues whatsoever. Now, The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to grab our droppers, and we're going to place the droppers, and these are going to be pointing upward. So let's get us a couple of temporary blocks in here so that we can place our droppers pointing upward. And when you see a nice hole there, you'll know that that's making it point upward. A couple more temporary blocks to stand on, crouch down. And that is going to be our bottle return elevator. Now what we want to do is come around to the side here, crouch down, and place a hopper pointing into that dropper, just like so. Now I use an add-on called directional hoppers, and as you can see, it gives me that nice fancy little red line arrow pointing in the direction that my hopper is pointing in. So I never have to worry which way I'm going, because I can see just by looking at my arrows. Okay, next thing we want to do is grab our dispenser. We're going to stand right here on top of this hopper, and we're going to place our dispenser right on top of that dropper, pointing into or facing this hopper here. Now what I like to do after that, place a temporary block right on top of that hopper, and then get your trap doors, and you want to place a trap door on each side of that temporary block, just like so. And what we're doing here is we're going to make our water reservoir. Go ahead and get rid of that temporary block. Grab your bucket of water. And this is where sometimes it gets a little tricky. Point straight down. And as you can see, that didn't work. This happens to me about half the time when I'm trying to do this. So we'll just empty out that water and we'll start it over. Stand right here like so, pointing into the dispenser. And there we go. Now we got her. Come back around here. Crouch down. And place your last trap door right on top, and that way nothing falls in, nothing falls out, all that good stuff. Okay, and as you can see, this is what happens when our water doesn't go where it's supposed to right off the bat. So let's go ahead and just put those back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place some temporary blocks right in front of that dispenser, and we're going to come back all the way back about 6 blocks. And these are all going to be temporary for now. Now take this one out right here, because this is where our piston is going to go. And then you're going to get rid of that one. But I like to put one right there behind it, because that's kind of where I stand when I'm going to do my mud making. Okay. So now what we want to do is we're going to place a block right underneath, in front of the piston, and place a redstone torch. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to place a block right next to that redstone torch, and then one up there, just like so. And then we're going to put our redstone, and we're going to come up, and that's going to power our piston, so that every time you place a piece of dirt in front of that piston, it's going to engage the piston. Now, through the magic of redstone, we're going to place another block down here and place a redstone. And what that's going to do is that's going to send power to your hoppers down here. And then we want to take our glass, place it right on top of that redstone there, and another block right next to it, and grab your redstone and connect that all the way over to there. And now that will power your droppers and your dispensers. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come around to this hopper that's pointing into that comparator, and we need to place 41 glass bottles in the first slot there, and then take a filler block and just fill up those spots there. Come to the bottom one and put yourself one glass bottle there. And what I like to do here is I come to my dispenser and I'll put a couple of bottles of water in there just to stay as like a prep, just in case. Now what you want to do is come up to this top dispenser, and this is where you're going to fill every one of these slots with bottles of water, or with bottles. And that's where we said it's good, to get yourself a few stacks of bottles, because you don't want this ever to run out. And it'll recycle everything, from the top to the bottom, but it's always good to have extras so that we don't run out over here at all. So just fill up all those slots. Try to evenly fill them out if you can. About like so. Looks good. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come around the back here, and we're going to do a little test just to see how things are working. Now you stand right here, and you just point right at the temporary dirt that you put there in the first place. And as you can see, it'll just keep pushing the dirt forward over and over and over. Now, provided that you've done everything right, it'll do that. So what we'll do is we'll take those back there. Now we know that our gauge system is right. We see that our redstone is working its way through, but we're not going to dispense our water bottles until we power that up. So what I like to do there is come right alongside in line with your dispenser, and I like to build a little stair step like so. Then I'll grab my redstone repeater and place it right there pointing at the dispenser. Grab your block of redstone and place it right behind that comparator, or that repeater, just like so. Now what we'll do is we start pushing our mud forward, and as you can see, it's pushing it down to the end of the line. And once it hits its max distance, what we're going to do is we're going to build our next system to push it forward so that we can get a nice big wall of mud going. So we're going to place that temporary block there and place your piston right behind that block. Now we're going to take another block and go directly underneath that mud and put a redstone torch as well. And we're going to build ourselves a little staircase system right here like so, and then place your redstone right there. And as you can see, that'll push that forward. So then what we'll do is come back over here, and we'll start placing our dirt converted into mud again. And as you can see down the line there, it's pushing that mud all the way to its length capacity. Now, once we've met our mud limit over here, what we're going to do now is we're going to make it so that it pushes our mud this way, so that we have a whole platform full of mud. So what I like to do here is I'll come to this block here, and I'll place some temporary blocks all the way down to the end of where our mud is. Then we're going to get our pistons, and we're going to place pistons right behind that mud, all the way back down until we have about 3 spaces, which is 2 spaces of mud. And the reason we're doing that is because when this pushes this forward, we don't want to run into our block of redstone. That'll screw everything all up. So come back around here, take out your temporary wall, grab your stone wall or wall of any kind and come underneath. And everywhere you see where there's a piston, we're going to place a wall. Now the reason that we're doing this is because as a wall has something touching it, it changes its form temporarily. So we'll put comparators. Every other block is going to be a comparator, just like so. And now that's going to detect when that wall changes, and it's going to kick. It's going to tell the piston that it's time to move. So what we're going to do now is we're going to place a block behind each one of these observers, just like so. Grab our redstone dust and fill those blocks in. Then grab your blocks again, and in the gaps you're going to place blocks in each one, just like so. Now what's going to happen here, we'll come back around and we'll start doing our mud. And as the walls change, the observers detect the change and they engage the pistons to start pushing that mud back towards us. We just sit here and we go for a while until you have the amount of mud that you're gonna need for whatever you're building. And next thing you know, we're gonna have ourselves a lot of mud. And again, like I said, every now and then you're gonna get a block or two that the dispenser misses because it's Mojang science. It's not perfect. So we just I'd like to just knock them out and just come back and replace them. But you can grab a bottle of water and just fill in those couple little ones here and there. But the more you use your system, as you can see, the more it works itself in and engages, and it knows what it's supposed to do. And eventually, you're not going to get any skips, just like so. And look at that. Before you know it, you're going to have tons and tons of mud that you can use for whatever your build is going to be. And that's how we make our 1.20 infinite mud farm. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye now.